Hello my loves, this is Elizabeth Van Cleve here. Welcome back to my channel. It has been a hot minute since I have been on my channel, made a video. So in this video, I want to talk about happiness, contentment, and mindset. So first of all, if you are happy, content, and have a good mindset, then I would love for you to say yes. Put a big yes in capital letters down in the comments and let everybody know that you are happy, you are content, and you have an excellent mindset. Let us know. And if you are not happy, content, and feel like you have a good mindset, if you're more on the lower spectrum of that, like I'm sure we all have moments of happiness and contentment, but if you're more on the lower spectrum and overall, which if you're watching this video, I would assume that perhaps you are looking for more of that in your life. But then down in the comments, put I am not. I think happiness, contentment, and a good mindset is pretty much what we come into this world with as babies and as young children, unless we're just born right immediately into abuse, which many individuals are. So unless we're born immediately into some sort of oppression, as children, our natural state of being is happy, content, and a good positive mindset. And to want those things, to desire those things, is to desire to return back to our original state of being that we came into this world with. It begs us to ask then, why did we come into this world? If that we already had all those things, why are we here? And I'm just going to share what I have come to believe, and through my own experiences with spirit, through watching hundreds of videos, probably more than that, and books, reading books on near-death experiences. I'm going to just speak, and some of these things you may agree with, some of them you may not. I'm not going to say that anything I'm saying is absolute truth, because I don't think anybody can say that here, but I'm just going to share what I believe, and if you can get some good out of this, and this can help you in some way, help you with your mindset to help you shift more into contentment and happiness, then great. So let's get started. So first of all, I believe that the reason that we came into this world is to have an experience that will expand us. I believe that I chose the person that I was going to be, the avatar, that avatar evolves, that I can continue to choose new avatars as far as evolving this avatar into a different aspect of itself. I believe there's infinite ways I can be expressed through this avatar. And at any given moment, every choice that I make makes a difference on how this avatar is expressed and what happens to this avatar. So essentially, I believe that I have a lot more control over my life and my life experience than maybe what life would like us to believe, right? So many people feel like they're a victim of circumstance. But when you really start to look at life through the eyes of mindset and energy, and what you're putting out, and how life is a mirror, and what you put out boomerangs and comes back, what you plant grows. When you start to really look at that, you start to realize you have a lot more to do with where you're at in life, including your happiness, your contentment, and your mindset, than you realize. And that's not to say that's a bad thing. It's a good thing, because that makes you sovereign. That means you're very sovereign. It makes you powerful. It makes you capable of creating something completely different and completely better, and evolving into something different. So I believe that when we came into this world, we came at our core with love and light, that we had purity, that purity of love and light. And we came into a world that has contrast, that has duality and paradox and limitations that we don't have outside of this life. So outside of this life, I believe we have an oversoul, that's like a sun. It's energetic. It's beautiful. It's radiant. It's vibrating. And it's this love and life that is connected to all love and life around us. And we are focused. Part of this oversoul around us, that's huge, humongous, is focused into an avatar right now that you picked out and created and came into the family, and all because of where you were in your soul and the things that you wanted to experience. So in essence, I feel like life is like when we pop out of the other side, we're going to go, wow. I don't know if you remember that scene in Harry Potter where he goes into the book and he experiences something from the past. He sees it and then he comes out and he's like, whoa, what just happened? You're like, I just went there, right? And I believe that when we pop out of this avatar, that's how it's going to be. We're going to go back to our pureness. We're going to see things differently, completely different than maybe we see in the human and from the avatar's perspective. Unhappiness comes from, and discontentment comes from pain and things that happen that are not aligned with what we are at our core and our sun, the radiance of our sun inside of us. When we are not aligned with that, when what we're thinking about, when what we're saying, when what we're doing, our actions, all those things are misaligned with who we are at our core, pain ensues. Okay, when what we see in the world about us, when we see the actions of others and the things that we tell ourselves about that are not aligned with our greater self, pain ensues. Okay, and also our oversoul or sun soul is infinite, where our human, the avatar that we are in is finite. There's a beginning and an ending to it, where our oversoul is infinite. So in the human, we come in with survival instincts because of that finite. We're in our oversoul, we know that death is really not a thing of our oversoul, but who we really are at our core. Death really never happens, but there will be a death of the avatar and this ego self that we create as we move forward in life. And so because there are limitations and because we feel things at a more visceral level, on the other side, we don't have needs like that. But on this side, the body has needs. It has, because it's finite, it has needs to be fed, it has needs to breathe, it has needs to be loved, it has and held, and there's different physical needs and spiritual needs and mental needs that this finite person that we came in here to be has. And as we grow from this baby, I believe when we first come in as a baby, we're open and we remember our oversoul, but it's slowly, as we focus into this existence, that memory is severed. And now there are people that claim that their memory hasn't been severed, that they remember. Some people say they remember the birth experience. Some people say they remember where they were before they came here. I have a daughter that remembers, she feels like she remembers walking around outside of me and popping in through the top of my head and going into my belly to become my daughter. So, I mean, people have different types of memories. I can't speak for them. That's theirs. I don't remember that. I don't remember her popping into me, and I don't remember me popping into anybody. I don't remember the birth experience, and I don't remember my life before here. However, since I've had quite a bit of an awakening, which I feel like we have a lot of awakenings throughout our life. I don't think that you just awaken and that you know everything. I think that there's awakenings that happen with all of us all the time. And if you're open to being able to shed old skin and old beliefs and realize they were stepping stones, that they were actually part of a piece of a bigger belief and a bigger picture, then you can continue to evolve and awaken over and over and over again and have many dark nights of the soul. So my whole point is that happiness and contentment are what we are naturally. That comes naturally to us. And what gets in the way of that happiness and that contentment is our mindset, is the things that we feel in our body and the storylines that we tell ourselves about it. So if we are starving, of course, that's going to be painful. If we can't get food, that is painful. But we can tell ourselves all kinds of different stories. If we are in tune and aware and awake to the idea that we're eternal and that even if I die, I'm going to be okay, then there's going to be a whole storyline and fear around starvation that is not going to exist, that will exist with other people that might be really afraid of death because they're not sure, that to them they feel so finite and they're not sure what's going to happen on the other side, or they have a story about the other side that's a little scarier than that. So that's going to be, there's infinite things that you can tell yourself about being hungry, right? Or that pain of hunger. Or if that need isn't met, by your parent in due time, you cry as a baby and you have to cry and cry and cry and cry and cry before the need's met. And you have a parent that's impatient and yelling at you and telling you to shut up and to go play and that you're too needy and making you feel like you're too needy. Then there's all kinds of new thoughts that you can start forming around these happenings in this world that is cut off for the most part from love and light until the soul awakens back to who they really are deep down inside. Happiness and contentment are not something that we find, there's something that we are. And what keeps us from feeling or being in the state of happiness and contentment is the mindset. It's the stories we tell ourselves over and over and over again. And those mindsets become habits. They're like, some give the example, I've heard the example given many times, where they're like laying train tracks down in the brain. Like when you lay a train track down, that's where the train goes, right? The train doesn't have anywhere else to go. It has to be on the track. If the track suddenly disappears, that train is going to crash. It's going to go nowhere. So what happens with the mind is you've laid these tracks of thought processes down, of beliefs about who you are, what the world is, the dangers, how people look at you, how you look at people, what you think of men, what you think of women, what you think of animals, what you think of dogs, all these things, very individual to each person. We have tracks in our mind that are so embedded and so deep at such a subconscious level sometimes that we automatically, even when we know that we think a certain way and don't want to think that way, it's so automatic because the train's been going that way and there's no other tracks laid. There's no new tracks. So to change your mindset, you literally have to first identify the mindset that you want to change, the thought process or the thought patterns that are holding you back, that are causing you to feel discontent and unhappy. And then you want to derail that. You want to get your train off that, and you want to lay down a new track, right? And that's what you first have to do before you derail that train. You've got to literally stop the train. Okay, stop it. Let's stop it the best as we can, but let's start laying down a new track. We got one going this way and one going that way. We want to flip tracks and then eventually take apart that old track and delete it and get it out of there and have this new one. Okay, so if you can imagine what it's like if you're right-handed and you broke that hand and you had to go through school and you had to write everything you had to do with your left hand, right? Do all your writing, everything with your left hand. Imagine how difficult that will be, how long that's going to take, and how you're going to have to slow down and you're going to have to pay closer attention to everything you do. And where it was so super easy, just write your name. Now it's just going to be like tedious, even just to write your name, because you're used to doing it with this hand. You've got it down. You don't even think about it. But this hand, you got to think about it now. You got to think about it. It's completely different, right? And that's what it's like to shift your mindset. And you have to go at it with determination that you are going to do this. You're going to keep with it. It's like anything. It takes discipline in life, and it takes patience with yourself, and it takes really knowing the track that you're laying down and knowing the benefit of it. Like, oh yeah, I want to go in that direction. I want to be there. I want to be on, I want the track that leads me back to myself, back to my contentment, back to my happiness. Happiness is an inside job. Happiness and contentment are an inside job. It's simply getting back to you. And that's why in my coaching, everything centers around you. You are the center of your universe. It's about being radically selfish, self-centered. And I don't mean that in an ugly way. I mean literally you are self-centered. You are the sun of your universe. You are. You're the one radiating your energy out. You are. Nobody else is radiating. It doesn't mean, there's like a lot of suns in the universe, a lot of stars, a lot of suns. It doesn't mean that they're all circling around all the other universes or people out there circle around you. No, but your world, your experience, you are the magnetizer of it. You are the one radiating and magnetizing to you your life that's unfolding. And so this work is a powerful journey. It's fun, it's exciting. It can feel frustrating sometimes, but it does lead you back to your contentment. And I will just say this, okay? I don't believe that happiness and contentment is something that you go, okay, I'm back to me. I'm back to happiness and contentment. Yay, life is good from now on. That it's undoing a lot for one thing. But if you think about the baby, right? Even the baby in the happiest home with the most adoring, caring parents, that might be one of the happiest babies you ever see, has times where it screams and it gets upset, it gets sick, it gets hungry, it falls down and hurts itself. Things happen, right? So that's life. Life has ebbs and flows. So no matter what, you're always going to have things that upset your apple cart, okay? Don't throw over your apple cart. So it's about understanding too, coming to understand that, okay, yeah, life is going to deal me out some things, but it's also finding ways to say, okay, but I can turn my apple cart back over, or build a new apple cart, or just forget about the apple cart and go do something else. There's so many things I can do, right? To just go back to me and to go back into my contentment and my happiness. There's so many things that I can do. And so part of the process is discovering those things that help you return back to yourself when you feel like you're out of sorts, or you're out of harmony, or you're out of balance. When you learn to start asking yourself regularly, how do I feel and what do I need? And then prioritizing meeting your need. Doesn't mean that in that very second, every time we're able to do the exact thing that we want to do, but you can even do, what can I do to make myself feel even a little bit better? So you might be at work and you're tired, and what you really want to do is go home. Now you could, right? But most people say, well, I know I could, but yeah, I could put my job on the line there or whatever, okay? So for many reasons, you decide that's not the best plan of action for you, but you do feel really tired. What could I do? Do I really need to do this task? Can I close the door and make it quieter in here? What could I do to make myself feel a little bit better? Can I grab myself a coffee or a hydrating drink? What could I do right in this moment to feel a little bit better? That is going to help you with contentment. It's going to help you return to that homeostasis and to that contentment. I could breathe. I could take a few deep breaths if I'm really stressed. Do some cleansing breaths. I could quit thinking on this. Let me get my mind on something else because I'm ruminating something here that's just upsetting me more and more. What can I get my mind on and I'll get back to this later when I feel better. Okay? So there's many, many things. And that's in my book. I call this the Daily Cauldron. And it is a channeling magic for a beautiful life. This is actually my third edition. I've been perfecting this. I do this almost every day. I fill this out. The first thing you do when you open up the book is you check in. Let me just show you. You check in with yourself. okay? And you ask yourself, how am I feeling? And I call it the daily cauldron because I think of, you think of your day as like you're the magician over your day. You're the sovereign over your day. You're the witch over your day. And you have your cauldron there. And you're mixing up this magical brew this day. You have the day before you and you're putting the ingredients in the day. So instead of not going into your day just being thrown into it, with this you're going in intentionally. It also has weekly exercises that you do to set intentions for the week. And so you're setting your intentions on a daily basis, and you're checking in with yourself, and you're going back to this and reminding yourself what your priorities were. It's completely different than your daily planner that people normally have. Those never worked for me, and this works for me because every time I get away from this, I can feel it after a while. When I get back to it, it's just like, I feel like I'm back to myself again. So I hope this has been a helpful video. I hope you've been doing well. I hope 2024 blessed you in many ways. I had many blessings, many heartaches, many different things that we went through, but blessings abounded as well. And I'm so grateful for that. Looking forward to 2025. Looking forward to bringing some high vibe videos and things that have helped me and hopefully will bless those that want to be blessed by it. All right. You guys have a great day, and I will talk to you again later. Bye.